Do we need more school cops?
No!
Are we going to tell Governor Corbett to fund our schools?
Yes!
Are we going to tell Governor Corbett to stop building prisons?
Yes!
The Philadelphia Student Unit and I support all the people that are walking to Harrisburg for the people's budget. I wish I could walk with y'all. I think you are doing the right thing. People are going to notice you, and they will be inspired to do something too.
Tear down the courthouse!
Tear down the courthouse!
Build up the schoolhouse!
Build up the schoolhouse!
Tear down the courthouse!
Tear down the courthouse!
Build up the schoolhouse!
We are marching to Harrisburg because it's time for Pennsylvania to stop building prisons. A little less than 200 years ago, just up the street on Fairmount Avenue, Pennsylvania became the birthplace of the world's first modern prison. And they made a huge mistake. And we are still living with the consequences of that mistake today. We want to take the money that's currently going into the prison system and into prison construction and put that back in our communities. Put it in our schools, put it to healthcare, to social services, to food security, to re-entry programs. Put it in things that will really keep us safe, not in new prisons.
On behalf of the PFT and the students of Philadelphia, I would like to say that it is a pleasure to stand together with all of you in denouncing the privatized agenda of Governor Corbett today and this day forward. Governor Corbett, when it comes to your unsympathetic closing of schools and building of prisons instead of investing in education, healthcare, and social services, you are not a friend in Pennsylvania. And as the governor gives his back to this great city, we ask ourselves, what is this city's mayor doing?
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
We're being held responsible to take care of and be engaged in society. But when it comes time to employment, housing, education, we're having a lot of doors slammed in our face. So we're fighting to have the total restoration of all our civil liberties. Once we complete our time, we come back into society, we're being held responsible for our families, for employment, for the different things that our neighbors are responsible for. We're citizens.
First, I have to say how thrilled I am to stand before a crowd that looks like Philadelphia. We have all generations represented here. We have all colors of the spectrum represented, and it takes collective voices to send a message to the man that sits in the Capitol in Harrisburg. No one of us, no one group of us, no one gender of us can get this done alone. Bottom line. Now, what's going on with our public school system? They're ready to spend $400 million to build 2 new prisons in Montgomery County. There's something wrong with that equation. And we know if you invest in kids on the front end, you don't have to worry about penalizing them on the back end, right?
Mass incarceration puts millions, predominantly people of color, in jail, and meanwhile white people, white working people, are fed a racist narrative that says these folks are dangerous and they're prone to criminality and violence and you gotta lock them up. It doesn't have anything to do with reality, the ideology of racism and the way the media and the politicians feed that narrative. Mass incarceration is a bipartisan policy. It's not like Ed Rendell was fighting to get rid of prisons. It's not like Bill Clinton was trying to get rid of prisons. We need to elect people who understand and are committed to policies that benefit working hardworking people at the expense of the 1%.
We're not just the people, we family. So they say, a family that eats together, fights together. So we're here for a reason. I just want to keep it brief. I ain't going to get into too much. I'm 17. I got a 1-year-old son. That's my generation. And I be damned, excuse my language, everybody, if he don't have what he need in school. So I'm fighting and I'm marching. And we all doing the same thing. So I say, when they say cut back, we say what? Cut back! Cut back! And my name is Todd Metz.
So I'm actually going to read a statement that's come to us from the inside from a bunch of folks at SCI Green, and particularly from Curtis Braxton, but on behalf of many. My government name is Curtis Braxton, and I've been a prisoner of the state for 16 years, and I've witnessed and suffered its injustices and inhumane treatment. I've been held in solitary confinement for the last 2 years unjustly so SCI Green can keep their restricted housing unit open and receive state and federal funding. They create pretexts to justify holding people in their RHU because they have the biggest in the state. 95% of the people held on administrative segregation would be in general population if they were at any of the other 26 state prisons. The DOC, the Department of Corrections, places the misnomer on SCI Green that it's a supermax and confines the worst of the worst. The only thing that is super is the injustices that take place here daily. Corresponding with the prison expansion, this institution was opened in the mid-90s with 5 other institutions, and it was built on an old mine, unstable ground, which is causing the jail to deteriorate. We are confined on top of a sinkhole, waiting to collapse. There are shifts and cracks across the walls, floors, and ceiling, causing the foundation to be imbalanced. They had to know that prior to the construction that the land was unstable. I guess when you can only see dollar signs, nothing else matters. It's all about capital enterprise. The people's budget is the solution. Instead of constructing prisons to confine people, we need to work on constructing individuals to free people. A human being is more valuable than a building. The money should be allocated to construct the communities, which leads to prevention. If the money is funneled into the school system and we properly give the youth who are our future the education they deserve to succeed, we won't need prisons. They claim prison is for rehabilitating. In order to rehabilitate a person, that person has to be habilitated first. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time and money and lives. The same goes for the communities. Create programs that will construct the minds of the people to transform our environments. By cutting funds in education, social service, and healthcare, you create hopelessness and despair that will percolate the ambience you need to populate these new prisons. Is this your intention? Construct people, not prisons. And then I'm gonna read this very last bit, which is from the men at SCI Green Restricted Housing Unit, and it's their salutations to all of us. We salute every one of you in the spirit of courage and of solidarity for standing and walking for a cause. They say many are called, but only few are chosen. And you are the chosen because you are here today with a common purpose. Know for a surety that somewhere, somehow, your stand will make a difference. In the words of Frederick Douglass, 1847, we are one, our cause is one, and we must help each other if we are to succeed.